Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the final video, the last activity for the 21st Century Scholars. It should be the third one under grade 12, which is File Your FAFSA. The FAFSA is a very important form that you are going to file your senior year and every single year that you are going to be going to college. Even if you're taking a year off, you still need to file this FAFSA during that year off. So just get comfortable. It's going to open up on October 1st, and the deadline would be April 15th of every year. So that is something that you'll need to get done again your senior year and every single year in between now and graduation. So we're going to go over it together. We are not going to go over the actual FAFSA since it is a federal document, but we will go over how you will check it off in Scholartrack and some tips and tricks to help you get started. I will also post in the financial aid video section a link in order to complete the FAFSA to help you with that. So let's go ahead and dive in. So if you click on File Your FAFSA, this is going to give you just some information what to do before you file. Again, your deadline is going to be April 15th. So, and it takes usually about 30 to 45 minutes. It's not too bad, but some families may have a fairly complicated tax issue, and that's something that we can help you out with. So in order to receive help from us, you can reach out to anybody in the commission. You can reach out to anyone, like any of your guidance counselor, or you can go to collegeschoolsunday.org. We put on 2 FAFSA filing events every year, usually one in October and one in February, that we can help assist you with. So this is something that you'll do online. Few amount of paper forms can be filed, but that is something that it is mainly done online. So in order to actually start filling out the FAFSA, we've given you a link right here, which is fafsa.gov. So you can go ahead and click on that, and that will take you to studentaid.gov. And where you can start the FAFSA process. So go ahead and click Start here. And one of the things that you're going to need to do first is what's called an FSA ID. And this is how you tell the federal government you are who you are. So it says do not log in with the FSA ID if you are not the student. So if parents are doing this, then they would need to file as a parent, preparer, or student from a freely associated state, not the student. So in order to complete the FAFSA, you and as a student and one of your parents would need to create an FSA ID. So the great thing is there's a handy link right here to create your FSA ID. I also have another video on this channel that can help you file or complete the FSA ID as well. So this is kind of just some preliminary information and what you would need to create your account, and then you can go ahead and click Get Started. So you will need your social security number, your date of birth. You will also need an email address that is not associated with your parents in order to create that account. And then your parents would need a different phone number and address as well, so to use two-factor authentication. So if you need any help with that, let one of us know and be more than happy to help you, but you will need to create the FSA ID before you log on to the FAFSA. It just makes things a little bit easier. So again, I will post another video that helps you kind of step-by-step of how to do the FAFSA. But once you have it completed, we're going to close these and we are going to actually proceed to next step. So when you do the FAFSA, you are going to put the high school that you're currently going to, and it will link up with your Scholartrack account by your social security number and your high school. So make sure that that information is correct and up to date. And then this will actually mark itself off once we receive the FAFSA. Again, it takes about 3 to 5 days for it to get into our system. But if you want to go ahead and check it off, you can go ahead and click proceed to next step. So when is the Indiana deadline for filing the FAFSA? Hopefully, you know it is April 15th. So if you do it started April 15th, 11:59 rolls around, 12 o'clock happens, and it's April 16th, you will not be eligible for state financial aid. You might still be eligible for federal financial aid, but it's important to get this done before April 15th. I always encourage students to get it done before Christmas of their senior year because it opens up in October. But that way you don't have to worry about the FAFSA going forward. If you need to make any changes, there's no penalty as long as you've met your first FAFSA goes through before April 15th. So what does filing the FAFSA accomplish? It's actually all of the above. It's required to receive 21st Century Scholars, any federal aid, and most aid that's like scholarship aid given to from the different schools you're going to be going to, required as well. So it's something that it hits all those pages. In some states, they require you to do a separate document for state financial aid. We just use the federal form. That's why it's kind of doing double work for the state for us. So make sure that you get that done again before April 15th. Where do you file the FAFSA? So if this is something that you did it at a College Goal Sunday location, you can click that. You could do at home or school event. If you click other, it's just going to have a drop-down menu, or I'm just going to go ahead and say at home. So you must make edits/corrections to your FAFSA before receiving financial aid. This is true. So if there's an issue with your social security number, if there's an issue with like your selective service registration for any males, those need to be taken care of before you receive state financial aid. Even if there's corrections that need to be made, again, there's no penalty on the student as long as that first FAFSA has gotten to the federal processor before April 15th. And then when must you file the FAFSA? You are going to click as a high school senior in every year that I'm in college. Again, it's going to be every year, even if you are going to be sitting out a couple of years, go ahead and complete that FAFSA because that is going to keep you eligible for your state financial aid. And then once you have all those done, it's going to have save and finish here, and then you should have a link or a green circle checkbox here at file your FAFSA. So if you look over your Scholartrack and you're missing any of these green circles, go ahead and make sure that you get those done. And again, I would try to aim for this to be done by Christmas, but you have technically until graduation to get everything done. So if you're waiting on the ACT or SAT, that is something that you might not be able to check that off at this time. But the FAFSA is the only one that has an earlier requirement. Again, April 15th is the deadline, so make sure that you get that done before then. And then once you have all of these checked off, just remember, we need at least a 2.5 GPA and at least a Core 40 diploma, and you should be good to go. So let us know if you have any questions. If not, I hope you have a great rest of the year, and we'll talk with you soon.